That's just a terrible take, personally.
We got shellacked.
Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to the starting lineup and the month of October. I'm your sports host tonight, Jacob Aries, alongside my co-host, Logan Kimmel and Elias Bonilla. So guys, I have a question for you. It's October. Is it too early to be thinking about our Halloween costumes?
I don't think it's early. I mean, whatever time Spirit Halloween is up, hey, I think it's fair game.
I agree with that. I got to start ordering. It takes a minute with these online orders, so I got to think about it.
I feel like I've been helping everyone else's costume except mine. I got to check out Spirit Halloween. I have some ideas, but I got to plan soon.
Definitely.
Well, we're going to get right into it. That being said, let's go into Arizona Roundtable to hear about all things Wildcats in the world of athletics. All right, let's shift over to Arizona football. The Wildcats continued Big 12 play this weekend against number 14 Iowa State, and let's just say it didn't go as planned. Elias, break down what happened and what went wrong for this.
Well, let's just say Arizona really dropped the ball on this one. Arizona took the field against number 14 Iowa State, looking to make a statement in their Big 12 opener, but instead they got humbled. The Wildcats fell 39-14, and from the start it was all Cyclones. Iowa State scored early and never looked back, jumping out to a 22-7 halftime lead. Noah Fifita threw for 253 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also tossed a pair of interceptions that really killed the Wildcats' momentum. For Iowa State, their quarterback Rocco Becht carved up Arizona's defense, punching in 3 rushing touchdowns, and wide receiver Chase Soule lit up the secondary with 100 receiving yards in just 4 catches. What few stops the defense did get, the Arizona offense didn't make much of it. The real problem, though, in my opinion, the Arizona offense poorly executed their game plan. Ismail Mahdi had 85 rushing yards in just 13 carries, yet they continued to throw the ball as Fifita had 46 pass attempts. This loss is a reality check for the Wildcats, and it's early, but if Arizona wants to bounce back, they've got some serious work to do, especially with the rest of the schedule not getting much easier.
Yeah, Iowa State opened up a huge lead before the halftime, but the Wildcats were able to close that gap, but it just wasn't enough. Logan, I know you were looking forward to this matchup. What else can you tell us what happened in this performance and the loss to Iowa State?
Well, thanks, Jacob. What stood out to me most about the game was how Iowa State completely took control and how Arizona struggled to respond when it mattered most. Right from the start, the Cyclones came out swinging, scoring on their first drive and setting the tone early. Arizona's defense had a hard time getting off the field, and that showed again and again in short yardage situations. Iowa State scored 5 times from inside the 3-yard line, and that's a stat you just can't ignore. It speaks to a lack of push up front and a real need for toughness in the red zone. There were also moments that just killed the Wildcats' momentum, like those 2 interceptions that really hurt us, especially one right after Arizona started to build a little rhythm in the second quarter. It felt like every time the Wildcats started to climb back into it, a turnover or a defensive breakdown swung things back Iowa State's way. But that's not to say it was all bad. Fifita led a touchdown drive late in the second quarter, cutting the deficit to 15. And Arizona's receivers made big plays in the second half against a tough Cyclones secondary. My biggest takeaway, well, that's that the Wildcats need more consistency on both sides of the ball. This loss exposed their weaknesses, but you can see that the pieces are there. Once they clean up these mistakes and bring that energy for 4 quarters, Arizona's going to be a tough team to beat.
Execution. It's all about that consistency. Arizona's having great plays. They're just needing to clean up that sloppiness.
100%.
Absolutely.
But hey, if the Wildcats can learn from this and clean up those mistakes, maybe next week can be an entirely different story. Now, let's shift to volleyball. Wildcats showed some real resilience against Kansas State. What stood out to me was about how the Arizona volleyball this weekend was their ability to bounce back and stay focused under pressure against Kansas State. The Wildcats dropped the second set 19-25, and it looked like Kansas State might steal some momentum. But Arizona came out firing in the third, dominating 25-14, and then held their nerves in a tight fourth set, winning 27-25. Jordan Wilson led the way with 2 kills and a .33% firing percentage, showing that she can carry the offense when it counts. Anna Heath contributed to 11 kills and 4 blocks, and Adriana Bridges impacted both sides of the ball with 5 aces and 5 blocks. helping the team total 9 blocks overall. The Wildcats also served 8 aces in the match, which really highlighted their aggressiveness and willingness to take chances. The subtle takeaway here, Arizona's still finding consistency. There were moments when the misses and unforced errors made the set more tense than they needed to be, but the resilience they showed, fighting through a lost set and staying composed in the fourth, tells you that this team has heart. If they can clean up the small mistakes and keep playing with this energy, they are able to be a real force in this Big 12.
Absolutely. I think that's what really impressed me, and especially how Arizona handled the pressure in that fourth set. Kansas State definitely kept it close, but the Wildcats stayed calm, making big plays when it mattered, and they didn't let the match slip away. It shows they're learning to close out tough sets, something that can make a big difference in Big 12 play this season. I'd also like to add that the offense was strong, but we can definitely see areas for improvement. A few unforced errors and inconsistent hitting could cost them against stronger teams. Still, the way they fought back after losing the second shows a lot about their resilience.
You know, a win is a win, especially against a Big 12 competitor in this conference. That mental toughness, they really proved in the later sets that they can actually, endure this. So, Elias, I want to now go to you. What can you contribute about this conversation?
You both hit the nail right on the head, guys. Logan, you made a ton of great points about what this team did well and what they need to improve on. I will want to move on to their most recent matchup against number 18 ranked Kansas. The Arizona Wildcats volleyball team faced a challenging night on the road, falling 3-0 in their matchup in Lawrence, Kansas, with set scores of 15-25, 22-25, and 19-25. Despite the loss, the Wildcats had some highlights, including Carly Cisneros, who led the team with 7 kills, and Adriana Bridges, who contributed 5 kills and 5 blocks. Arizona also served 6 aces and registered 7 total blocks, showing flashes of defensive strength but struggled offensively, hitting just .109 for their match. Kansas's defense proved formidable, tallying 9 blocks and consistently pressuring the Wildcats, including a key run in the second set, where they held Arizona to just 2 points over 5 consecutive serves, swinging momentum decisively in their favor. The loss drops Arizona to 7-5 overall and 1-1 in Big 12 play, but the Wildcats will look to rebound when they return home to take on Utah this Thursday at 6 p.m. at the McHale Center.
7-5 overall and 1-1 in the conference. I remain optimistic about this team, especially because they went against number 18 ranked Kansas, and we were actually able to go toe-to-toe in these later sets. It wasn't big deficits in these sets that they lost. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about the buzzing world of sports, scores, and stories outside of Tucson, Arizona. More on that when we come back.
I'm Kate Condon, and you're watching UATV3.
This is Madeline Heinrich, and you're watching UATV3.
I'm Jaden Zelm.
I'm Dimitra Alarcon.
I'm Carly Siegel.
I'm Delaney Penn.
I'm Gabby Rosenberg.
I'm Rachel.
My name's Simone.
I'm Isabella Will.
I'm Avery Klein.
I'm Joey Bernal Alonso.
And I'm Pablo Rojas.
And you're watching
Good to have you back, everyone. Much is going on in the world of professional sports. Now, we're going to be looking into this week's installation of In Case You Missed It. My In Case You Missed It was NBA Media Day for the 2025-26 NBA season. This marks the approaching start of the preseason and regular season. During the offseason, players and team storylines become rampant in the media as fans are left to know games and look for anything revolving the world of the NBA. This is their first time that players, coaches, and staff have the time to publicly address questions surrounding their offseason and season ahead. Among all the talking points and narratives, the one that stuck out to me the most was the Los Angeles Lakers surrounding LeBron, Luka, and their push for a title. LeBron is a player truly in his own league. I mean, with all the accolades, he's also entering his 23rd season. There is no definite timetable for when he will retire, but he says until he stops enjoying the process, that will be the time. This is a pivotal point in his career where he isn't the number one option on his team. We are only a half season removed when the NBA's biggest trade broke headlines, that when prime Luka Doncic was traded to the Lakers for a package that had many fans questioning underlying motives and conspiracy theories. Since then, Luka has gotten his body right, becoming the cover athlete of Men's Health magazine. He is now committed to the Lakers for the foreseeable future.
Not only that, Jacob, this team is committed to winning not only just regular season games, but at the bare minimum, a Western Conference title. Lakers second-year coach J.J. Redick in his press conference talked about the team's priorities, which are championship habits, championship communication, and championship shape. They have an obsession for success, and it starts from day one. In his rookie season last year, they had a 50-win season, but were swept by the Timberwolves in the first round. Although a young coach heading into his sophomore season, he needs to follow up his success, or better lack of, with a most promising season of defensive and offensive schemes. Him and his team were able to attract talent in the offseason like 2021 and 2022 Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart, as well as U of A great DeAndre Ayton at center. This has been a great talking point for this team, the center position. Ayton has been marked as a high potential, low output player ever since his finals run with the Suns. In this situation in the bright lights and no backing down, I feel confident that his contributions to this team will be great.
It almost seems like finals or bust. You know, it's the Lakers. Everyone's wanting them to win every single year. But I remain hopeful, even though that they had a plus 50 win season last season, it was difficult for them to be swept in the first round. So we'll have to see how they do. Logan, I want to now bring you into this discussion. What about Media Day stuck out to you?
Well, absolutely. I have something that definitely stood out to me, but not only me, it also includes the entire rest of the league. The other Los Angeles team, the Clippers, are in a predicament around their star player Kawhi Leonard and shady financial transactions. Each team can only spend so much money on players before they are penalized and taxed. As the report and recent findings proclaim, the Clippers organization found a way to circumnavigate this by funneling nearly $28 million to Kawhi under the table through a nonprofit that Steve Ballmer, the team's owner, has personally made contributions to. The NBA since has launched a private investigation and are cooperating with all parties to see if any wrongdoings are present. During the Clippers Media Day, Kawhi was asked about the situation, and he said that he doesn't see this as a problem to detract the team's focus.
You're right on that one. Not only is it a big deal to this Clipper organization, it's a big deal to the whole franchise. I mean, Kawhi to say that this is not going to be over his head, I don't buy it.
I don't either. I think it's definitely a tricky situation to tackle, and I don't know if I agree with his statement.
It's definitely going to be a storyline moving forward, and I don't see when that story is going to be finished. Elias, I want to move to you. What do you have?
Well, Jacob, the stage is set for an epic showdown in the 2025 WNBA Finals as the Las Vegas Aces face off against the Phoenix Mercury in a best-of-7 series starting Friday, October 3rd. The Aces enter the finals as one of the league's most dominant teams in recent years, looking to capture their third title in 4 seasons. Led by superstar Asia Wilson and guard Jackie Young, Las Vegas has built a dynasty around elite scoring, lockdown defense, and championship experience. They punched their ticket to the finals after a thrilling overtime Game 5 win over the Indiana Fever, with Wilson scoring 35 points and Young adding 32 to carry the team in clutch moments. On the other side, the Phoenix Mercury are back on the big stage for the first time since 2021, determined to bring home their 4th franchise title and first in over a decade. Led by stars Alyssa Thompson, Sato Sabali, and Kaylee Copper, Phoenix fought through a tough playoff road, defeating the Minnesota Lynx 3-1 in their semifinals. This matchup pits the Aces' dynastic power against the Mercury's resurgence and hunger to reclaim their place among the league's elite. Las Vegas holds home court advantage and will host games 1, 2, 5, and 7 if necessary. All games were on ESPN and ABC, promising an intense, high-stakes series that could go the distance as two powerhouses collide for the crown.
Elias, I gotta be honest, this team really surprised me, the Phoenix Mercury. They had a huge turnaround, especially after losing some very key players. Now, we gotta remember, the Indiana Fever did not have their star player, Caitlin Clark. So the fact that they were able to go this far against the Phoenix Mercury shows a lot what they can come back to when Caitlin is at full strength. Logan, you're up next. What do you have for us?
Mine, in case you missed it, revolves around the biggest Sunday in sports, and that would be Super Bowl 60, and it's set to take place Sunday, February 8th, 2026. This will be happening at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. And this year's halftime show is expected to be one of the most talked about in years, with global music superstar Bad Bunny taking center stage. He is known for breaking language barriers and redefining Latin music on a global scale. Bad Bunny's performance symbolizes the league's growing focus on diversity, inclusion, and cultural relevance. Hosting the Super Bowl in Silicon Valley also carries significance as it places the NFL's marquee event in one of the most technologically advanced regions in the world. This will be promising a state-of-the-art fan experience both in the stadium and at home for fans. Beyond the game itself, the Super Bowl drives massive economic impact for the host city, generating hundreds of millions in revenue and putting the Bay Area in the global spotlight. As teams fight through the 2025 season for a chance to play on football's biggest stage, all eyes will be on Santa Clara this February for a spectacle that promises to be bigger, bolder, and more impactful than ever.
You know, they actually announced Bad Bunny being the halftime performance during that last Sunday football game against the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. Now, I'm not the biggest Bad Bunny fan listening to his music. However, when he was in Happy Gilmore, the second one, I really am rooting for this guy. You know, he's got a great career, and I'm excited to hear him.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
Well, don't go anywhere, guys. When we return, we will go into Hammer Time, a segment where we make predictions on the events coming up.
I'll be right there.
Thanks, cameraman. You're my hero.
Welcome back, Wildcats. Now it's time for us to make those predictions as we head into Hammer Time. Sunday brings one of the most exciting matchups of the week as the Minnesota Vikings take on the Cleveland Browns in London in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as part of the NFL's International Series. This game gives fans overseas a front row seat to NFL action and offers both teams a chance to make a statement. For Week 5, the game will be on October 5th. The Vikings will enter as a 3.5 favorite and an over-under of 36.5 points. Minnesota comes into this matchup with momentum, and I think they'll prove why they're favored. With Carson Wentz now leading the offense and targeting receiver Justin Jefferson, the Vikings have enough firepower to put points on the board and control the tempo of the game. This is their second weekend in Europe as they played last week in Ireland. Their defense has also been reliable, especially against the run, which could force Cleveland to adjust its game plan. The Browns can't be counted out. Their defense, led by Myles Garrett, is capable of changing a game with one big play. But if Minnesota executes clearly on offense and protects the football, I expect them to come away with a win in London and cover the spread on the international stage. That is a Hammer Time lock for me for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, let me tell you about my Hammer Time. For mine, I'm focusing on UFC 320 happening this Saturday, which features a highly anticipated rematch between Ankalaev and Pereira for the light heavyweight title. This fight is one of the most talked about matchups of the year, and fans are eager to see how both these fighters have adjusted since their last encounter. Pereira came up short in their last encounter by unanimous decision, but he also said that he wasn't feeling up to his full potential with a potential injury. So we'll see if he's ready to make the necessary adjustments to take back the belt this time around. He's shown incredible skill, power, and resilience throughout his career, and this is his chance to reclaim the position at the top of the light heavyweight division. This fight promises to be intense with strategic striking, powerful combinations, and high-stakes moments that could turn the match in an instant. Both fighters have been training hard and making adjustments based on their last encounter, so it'll be interesting to see who can execute their game plan better on fight night. Whether this comes down to precision, endurance, or timing, I expect this rematch to deliver nonstop action, and personally, I hope Pereira comes out on top and takes back the title. So that's my Hammer Time prediction.
Well, Logan, I know ever since the start of this school year, you have been really into UFC, and I know you've had this marked on your calendar, and it's great. You know, we don't have a late night game on Saturday, so fans can also watch the football game and this fight. Elias, I want to end it with you.
I'm going to move back to the world of the NFL. For my lock this week, I'm going to have to go with the Indianapolis Colts to take down the Las Vegas Raiders. The Colts, currently 3-1, have been one of the most impressive teams in the NFL so far, stunning fans and analysts alike with their explosive offense and team chemistry. They suffered a heartbreaking loss to the Rams this past Sunday. They were just, though, a drop by Adonai Mitchell and a perfect throw to Tutu Atwell away from potentially winning the game. The team has shown resilience and hustle, demonstrating that they can compete with some of the league's best. The Colts face a Raiders team struggling with turnovers, currently tied for the most in the NFL this season with 8. That stat alone makes this game even more favorable for Indianapolis. As their offense is designed to take advantage of mistakes and capitalize on short fields, the Raiders' struggle with turnovers have cost them games early in the season. And against a disciplined team like the Colts, those turnovers could prove disastrous. Combined with their strong defensive scheme and offensive talent, the Colts look poised to dominate possession and close out this game strongly. Given all that, I'm confident that this is a lock for the Colts to win, and I expect them to show why they're one of the most surprising and exciting teams in the NFL this season. It is my hammer lock in pick for this week.
Well, surprising they are. I did not have the Colts competing this well, especially on their offense. I feel like them being 3-1 is a great start to their season, and it can only go up from here. We're going to take our last break of the night, but when we return, we're going to finish out the show with some special messages. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, tonight. And I want to give you guys a special shout out myself. This was a great show, and I had a lot of fun. Well, before we leave, let's give some special people some special shout outs. My shout out goes out to the Wildcat basketball team. Now, I can speak for all of us in the studio that we are all very excited for this upcoming season, which begins this Friday at the Red and Blue Showcase in the McHale Center.
My shout out goes to NASCAR driver Eric Jones and his foundation. Jones, who is known for